Good morning, guys. Welcome to another Monday morning chat with Steffani, Rozella over in Spokane, Washington. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm good as well. It's sunny in the Pacific Northwest. You gotta love it when it's sunny here.
Mm-hmm. Everything is
everybody
fine.
happy.
Yep. And I know that you guys are going to continue taking us on a tour of the greater Spokane area. Where and what are we going to talk about today?
Spokane Valley.
Yep. The
Good.
Spokane Valley. We finished off with Millwood last time, so we figured we'd just take a little bit more of a tour to the Spokane Valley.
Got
Which
it.
Spokane Valley actually is quite a big area that has a lot of smaller communities, such as Millwood, within it. And so we figured we probably should have done the whole valley first and then Millwood, but we're going to do all of the valley. That way you kind of have an idea how that's broken down.
That's a good way to do it. It's a big area, so I think that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm.
All right, so tell us about Spokane Valley. Where is it at, first of all?
Well, it's in a valley of some mountains, if you will.
Actually, it's just east of Spokane. So if you're in Spokane City and you head east, you're going to the valley. It's quite a big area. So Dishman Micah is a mountain, and then Beacon Hill is another mountain, and those are the two hills that it kind of sits within there.
There's
And then
the valley.
And between basically, like
I was going
the
to say it
state
extends.
line
Yep.
all the way to the downtown, almost, or not all the way to downtown, but almost like to where then you would creep into Spokane. So like far, not far. Fancher. That.
Okay, so that's kind of the western boundary is just keep bumping into downtown. And do you consider it all the way to the Idaho line, the rest of the valley, or where does it stop?
Liberty Lake.
Yeah, that only just recently became its own. Actually, that's not true. It's been its own municipality for quite some time, but it's been it's its own little small area because then you have Green Acres and then you have Otis Orchards and then you have the valley.
All of which I'm sure we're going to tour along. So this is kind of fun. All right.
Mhm.
Are we hitting the whole Spokane Valley today over the overview, or is it okay? Well, tell us about it, ladies. What you got?
It's a very highly sought after area. I will say this. People love the valley. If you're a valley person, it's kind of like the North Siders and you have the valley people. And it's funny because it's just if you're a valley person, you are. And I think the draw there is because there's a lot of family neighborhoods, there's schools, businesses, industrial areas, recreational. There's all sorts of things that draw people to the valley, and it's very conveniently located, right off of I-90, so it makes it a nice stopping point for a lot of people. What would you say?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
Talking to you.
I'm the history buff over here. I know like currently why people are going there, and I know historically it's the same reason as the rest of our area is we have the water, we had the railway, and we had the farmland, and because it's in a valley with a river in it, irrigation was really popular. The Indians thrived here in the early 1800s, and then the Americans settled, or not the Americans, I guess the whites came in and settled in the late 1800s. And then same timeline as Spokane, really 1920s is when it took off for industrial wise. The establishment then that connects with the railroad right there. That really is what boomed the area and why a lot of people came here. And then obviously during the World War, we had Kaiser Aluminum, which brought a ton of people. So yeah, you have your farming, fishing, farm, about everything that you would need to survive here. So that's why they came.
There you go.
There's also a fun fact too that I learned about the valley before it really took off, but it was like late 1800s, early 1900s, in that transitional time that there was actually beaver sales that happened right there at the river, and so they turned it into a business because they had to cross the river in order to get the products and goods to the north side. So fun fact.
There you go.
Yes.
The valley actually didn't become an incorporated city until 2003. So it took quite some time. And even then, it's like the communities we talked about, Dishman, Micah. You're going to have your Millwood, Green Acres. There were some older communities that used to exist within the Spokane Valley, but are no longer actually small little communities. Some of them I had never even heard of. I was like, oh, these are interesting. But yeah, so 2003 is when it became an incorporated city. So.
Do you have any population data, ladies, of how many people live?
In 2023, there were 109,000.
Well, that's a little city, that's for sure.
Yeah, and actually, I think it's
didn't
like
go up very much from 2010, which is one that I read. I don't know why 2010 popped up, but it was only like 89,000 at that point, so it hasn't actually grown substantially, like as I thought it would have. That's kind of crazy. Good to know, though. Real estate's booming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get to the heart of that matter. That sounds good.
Do you want to know how many active listings there are?
Yeah.
This one shocked me. Just take
Did
a guess.
It shocked you? I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. If it shocked you, that means there's more than you thought. So there are 28 active
I was
listings.
like, wait, I looked up actives. Did you look up actives?
I did. I came up with 200.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah.
There's a couple hundred active listings?
Yeah.
That's a lot. You
It's
thought that was
surprising
normal,
to me
Rozella?
just because of how many little active listings we have in some of the areas that we've done, that I was like, dang, like the valley's popping.
The valley's big though. Like it's
I know.
It's actual square mileage and like the area that it covers. Some of the other communities we were looking at, you could walk through in 5 minutes, whereas the valley, you can't drive through it in 5 minutes. It takes, 20 minutes on I-90. So it's such a big area. I was thinking 200. I was like, oh, okay. But I guess that is a lot when some of the other areas we've done are 3, 4.
Yeah, you guys would tell us like 2, 3, whatever. So that's kind of interesting. That's a lot.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is good.
Okay. And what do the numbers look like? What price ranges are we talking here?
This is another one that shocked me.
The average?
This is just a shocking video today. I'm telling you.
No, okay, the low point and the high point both kind of surprised me slightly, just because, again, of the valley being so sought after and just like the availability. But the low end was $29,500.
That must be a lot. Is that right?
No, it's a single wide manufactured home, 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, almost 800 square feet. And that bad boy looks like it's been updated.
And it's got its own land?
No, it's on lease land.
I was going to say, how much is the lot rent on that bad boy though? Because I know in the valley, I did one last year, lot rent was like $500 on some of these already.
I know some of them are really, really bad. Yeah. But this one was the listing agent was great and didn't put it in my quick little notes for me. So
it's okay. But on the flip side, so the Spokane Valley does have quite a few lots and parks. Yes. For manufactured homes on leased land. It is an area that people can look for if that's what you're desiring. So I think that's going to influence our price point. But on the flip side, the valley is very sought after. It has a lot of higher end builds, new builds, and that sort of thing. So what's the high end, Steffani?
Well, that's why it surprised me, because I thought we would have come in a little bit higher, but we're sitting at 1.6 million.
Well, that's not bad. I mean,
I know.
I feel like that could vary though from time to time, honestly.
Yes, because I do believe one of the most expensive listings that Spokane's ever had just sold in the valley, which was like at 3.5 million recently.
Yeah, I could see that happening. So back to the real estate side of things, if you take away manufactured homes on lots that are not real estate, what's the bottom end for real estate?
Oh, you got it, Steph.
If you take away manufactured homes, you said? And just
anything that's not real estate, because the manufactured home on a lot is not real estate, right? It's a manufactured home.
So we'll do residential side. I didn't do any land, just so you know, because that's a completely different beast to tackle.
Yeah, that's
which I
fair.
can tell you what those are. But it only takes it to 156.
Okay, all right. So you can buy a house in the valley for $156,000.
No, that's active. She's talking about, I think, or is that price point?
No, 156 active listings. Those are residential site built. Your average price point though, is going to be sitting around 552,000.
Okay, where's the low end here? That's what I'm searching for.
280,000.
Okay, well, I liked 156 better, but
Sorry. My bad. I didn't. Yep. So
that's good.
280,000 in the valley. And what that would get you is going to be a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, also around 800, 900 square foot. It's going to be on a third of an acre size lot, though. So you have a decent sized lot, but it's going to need some love.
Well, there you go.
I will
Livable,
say though,
but love.
the valley's averaging right around 50 days for on market. So it's good. It's got good momentum.
A lot
Yep.
happening in the valley, that's for sure. I
There's
like
a
it.
lot happening in the valley for
Yep.
sure.
One thing I want to note too is the industrial areas in the valley. Yes, it's residential, and yes, there's the river and all of that, but there is a large section of the Spokane Valley that is still an industrial area. And that is not a portion that you would live in and reside in. So just keep that in mind if you're heading that way.
It does also take up a decent chunk of that footprint that we were referring to as well. So it's on the
Okay.
northern side of the I-90.
Is that kind of over by Kaiser and where it's
Right.
located there?
Yep, Sullivan.
Okay. Is that the major employer for the valley? Is it Kaiser Aluminum or are there
Oh,
other?
there's so many out there now. There's an Amazon fulfillment center out there now. Different.
I know the
kinds of fab
railroad because
companies, like, yeah.
the railroad is still very, very active right there. It has one of its main like industrial sections of where trains are unloading, offloading, and all the things and messing up traffic. And you always hit it at the wrong time of the day.
Yeah.
So Thrive's right there too. And then it's like the Trent area is where it mainly is on north of Trent. And then what south to, I would say it varies a little bit. But if you go down Trent, you're going to find all of them.
Yep.
Indeed,
There's the
indeed.
Spokane Valley Mall that's out there as well. Malls, I think, are kind of a struggling breed in a whole, no matter where you are. But yeah,
That seems like a pretty lively mall, though. I've been there a few.
It's one of the livelier ones. It's got, I mean, it's really large and it has probably like, I don't know, more of the active shops than some of the other malls that are still in the area.
That seems like it.
Yeah. Let's see what else is out in the valley.
I will say too, because of the proximity to the state line with Idaho, you do get a lot of commuters and workers that are coming back and forth between the border. So I know like sometimes it's easier to work in Idaho but live in Washington or vice versa. Properties are more expensive in Idaho now. So we have people that are Idaho workers but looking to buy in our area because it's cheaper, and the Spokane Valley is really relatively close travel-wise if they're on I-90. So
Yep.
We're going to have to expand our search to Idaho. That's interesting. I had no idea properties were more expensive over there.
Yes.
And you get less for your money, for sure. I do know I've heard quite a bit that they didn't have as many like regulations and standards on their home ownership for a long time. And so now they're turning these properties over and it's like,
I see. Well,
yeah.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. Well, fun tour. Any closing thoughts for today on the valley?
I know Steffani used to spend a lot of time out there, but me as a North Sider, I was not a valley kid.
Yep, I grew up kind of bouncing around the valley a little bit when I would come these ways. And then my first house was in the valley. And then I went to the South Hill. And then I went to the north side. And then I went even farther north. And next thing we know, I'd be in Canada. That's where she's from.
Always fun with you two. I want you to know. Thanks so much today, ladies. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
All right. If you want to make an offer on one of those 200 homes, including manufactured homes, I'm guessing, right? In the valley, call one of these ladies. They can help you out.
We know how to do it.
Oh, she got fireworks too? Or no?
I did. Why did it turn dark on me? That was weird.
That's weird.
All
right. See you guys.
Bye.